What's up dudes, Max here, and I wanted to go over some of the more important and big changes that are going to be happening to a lot of the Injustice characters and gameplay system that took place over the past day. These are mostly the ones that I'm personally looking forward to, and the characters I would like to see get buffs or nerfs, and what is happening, so let's get started. There's a couple of system-wide things that are taking place that I'm kind of excited about. First one is that stage transitions will now cause the same amount of damage for every stage, no more crazy, varied damage values. You can also finally rematch somebody online, you don't have to go back to character select, thank God for this one. And meter-burning interactable objects to get armor now costs 2 bars instead of 1, and this is a pretty big change. There's a lot more stuff that's happening to the system of the game, and you can check them out in the patch notes below, but this is the stuff that really caught my eye. Now moving on to characters, the first up is Ares. Ares was one of those that you saw quite a bit when the game first came out. He had this almost unblockable setup that you really couldn't do much about unless you had a very specific time backdash or a jump, and they nerfed the crap out of that, and the character was kind of lost. But now he's gotten several adjustments, and between a lot of the characters in the cast, he's one of the ones that received more benefits than many, and I think Ares is going to show up on a lot more character rosters and in tournaments nowadays. Now, I usually don't get too excited for nerfs, but when it comes to Superman, I couldn't wait to see what they do to bruise this guy's face into the ground. First up, his forward 2-3 isn't nearly as good as it used to be. The distance and range has been nerfed quite a bit. And of course, his super is no longer the fastest freaking thing in the game. It now takes a little bit more startup time, and it doesn't zip across the entire screen in a freaking heartbeat. However, Superman still remains good, and a lot of the other adjustments made to the character are pretty minor for the most part. Now here's one I'm excited about. Lobo was one of those characters that came out, I was really excited for him, and literally after 30 minutes of playing him, I'm like, dude, this character is missing some things pretty hardcore in comparison to the over 50% good characters in the cast. And it turned out to be true in the long run. Lobo was one of the bottom tier characters in all of Injustice, and they took that to heart. You'll notice that the damage values, the usability of some of his traits, and a lot of the different aspects of his combos and overheads have drastically changed, and Lobo looks like a pretty freaking fantastic character right now. I can't wait to jump back in and maybe do a repeat week of Lobo, where we finally get some work done. Now, Black Adam has not been absent from many tournaments ever since the game has come out. He's been a predominant character that's been in many rosters and has been seen throughout all these top 8s that everyone knows that Black Adam is that good, and that foot dive is really hard to avoid. And it seemed like Black Adam was getting a lot of nerfs, for what I've understood about talking to some Black Adam players, that he's actually gotten some buffs on top of his nerfs. So he's lost a little bit of mobility, he's lost a bit of frame advantage on some moves, but they changed some aspects of combos, so he just has to do things a little bit differently now. We'll see how much this affects his ranking as a top tier character in the game though. And one I don't think many will be happy about, Scorpion received some very minor adjustments and also what seems to be a damage boost overall. A lot of people really dislike Scorpion because he's an extremely easy to use character in most regards, and it can be very difficult within the system of Injustice to kind of chase him down. But we haven't seen a lot of him in high-level tournament play, just a lot of him in the online environment where he can be the most deadly. And last but not least is a character that I've been waiting a hell of a long time to do a freaking week of, and it's Green Arrow, and I'm glad I did because they gave him a special meter burn on his slide to add another arrow at the end, which looks pretty freaking cool, and I think he kind of needed something to follow up with one of his moves. And this kind of nails it right on the head. So for the most part, a lot of characters that I was really worried about got some adjustments that I don't think really nerf them too much. Batman's bats don't recover as fast. I think Batman still mostly remains intact. Batgirl just got some adjustments and not really like nerfs or like buffs, so she's pretty much the same character, and other dudes that I've played pretty frequently like Nightwing kind of remain untouched for the most part. Even Flash got some very minor adjustments, and I'm kind of looking forward to jumping back with Flash, because I haven't really used him after they gave him the huge boosts from back in the day. Now all this footage was coming from the NetherRealm Studios preview of the changes, but it is actually live right now, so if you log into Injustice, you'll get a patch download that'll go by pretty freaking quick, because it is kind of freaking small, and you'll be able to play with all these new adjustments to the characters. So give it a shot, let me know what you think. These were the ones that really caught my eye that I'm excited about, because we're getting back into Injustice. The week ofs will be returning featuring a variety of characters, and I'm looking forward to it, especially with the new changes. Thank you all very much for watching, and if you're looking forward to more Injustice coverage, and maybe even some character tutorials in the future, leave me a thumbs up. My name is Maximilian, and I'll see you guys very soon.